Hi there and welcome back everyone. As some of you may have noticed, I haven't been uploading some video because actually I was sick and a colleague at work, because I saw him in the lift, he organized himself and he was telling me like, "Hey chef, what do you upload?" So obviously yes, I've been away, but look, back in business, and today we're gonna look at a French classic dessert which is called the floating island. What is the floating island? It's basically a dish made out of a French custard, which is different than the English one. It's very thin, and little soft meringues that you have on the side. So basically how it works, you make your French custard and it's like a pool of custard, and on top you have this little meringue island, and you add a drizzle of caramel sauce on top. It's a very delicious dessert. So I hope that you're gonna like it and you're gonna make it at home, and that's what we're gonna see today. So enjoy the show and let's get started. Now, isn't that amazing? I mean, this is the type of dessert I like. Because looking at this, can you imagine that these things are gonna become an amazing, delicious dessert? Honestly, when I look at that, I think there's no way in hell. 4 eggs, half a liter of milk, 200 grams of castor sugar, of white sugar, and a fresh, we're not just going to use half, but this is a vanilla pod, fresh one, very important, and a little bit of water, about like 30 grams. That's it. Now let's see how to make these floating islands. Alright, so to start off our recipe, we're going to first make the custard, the French custard. Take a normal saucepan. We're going to use a medium to high heat. Take your pan, extremely simple, half a liter of milk, straight in, that we're going to slowly bring to the boil. So on the side here, I don't know if you can see, I'm going to be using my vanilla pod on half, and I'm going to remove the seeds. You see, these are the seeds that are inside. So I'm using my chopping board on the side to really kind of flatten the bits here and to get all of the seed out of the pod. You do that. When it's all there, you put the whole pod in there, and basically you're gonna gently let that milk on the side to bring it to the boil. Now, your milk is slowly going to the boil on the side, and now we're gonna separate basically the white of the eggs and the yellow, so the egg yolk and the white. So what I'm doing, I'm try to break an egg, and you're going to try to use the shell. It's a bit of a tricky process, and you're going to put the white on one side, okay, that we're going to reserve for later, and the egg yolk on the other side. Okay, now I've got both of my egg yolk and the egg white separated. At this stage your milk must be ready, so turn the heat off, make sure it doesn't overboil, and you leave it to rest behind. I didn't show this on camera. What we're gonna do next is to prepare the mix for the custard. So I'm taking all of my 4 egg yolks straight in, and I'm gonna put 100 grams of sugar. Now be careful when you put your sugar. Crystal sugar burn egg yolks, so as soon as you put it in, you have to mix it in, okay? So I hope you can see. So you don't leave your sugar to stand too much. And you see that kind of paste that we get? I want to show you because it's very important. This is the initial color, which is like a really yellowish. And what we're gonna do here, we're gonna blanch. This is blanched. You see the color? It went from a yellow to a kind of a whitish creamy. After this little bit of action whisking, we're gonna be adding our milk, which has now cooled down a little bit. So if I put my finger in, I can stand. It's not too hot because you cannot have a boiling milk over egg yolk, because this is the most important. The egg yolk in this preparation must not cook, otherwise your recipe will fail. So what I'm doing, I'm gonna take a little bit of milk to start with. I'm filtering it. You don't put everything to start with because it's still hot. And very gently, you're gonna basically incorporate your milk in your eggs. It's very easy. It's nothing complicated. When you've diluted the first bit, you take the rest of the milk, making sure you filter all the bits, the cream, the vanilla pod, and you discard all this on the side. Okay, and now we're gonna put this back on the fire. So we're back on the stove, and now starts the crucial moment where you have to cook your custard. I'm saying it's crucial because it is very easy to fail that sauce, and you really have to be extremely careful. So I've got my pan, it's a clean one, a medium heat, not too high, medium is good, not too low neither. I'm taking my mix that I'm gonna filter again, with more and more filtering, very gently, because there's always unwanted bits. As you can see, that foam I was telling you about, you don't want to miss the seeds. Oh, and we're gonna be discarding this. That mix cannot be boiling at no point in time. You have to make sure it's not boiling. Now, how do you do this? Basically, for the whole time of cooking yourself, you're gonna have to stand in front like I'm doing now, and you have to do exactly this. You're gonna have to stir with the fire or the heat on at medium, even a little bit more than medium, quite high, so it's really going onto the real hot side, and you keep stirring. Alright, so a few minutes after it started, you can see the consistency of my mix. If I just move it, it's already much thicker. And if you take your spoon, you're gonna see that the bottom of your spoon get coated. And if I put my finger like this, you see that? It's thickened enough so that it sticks to your spoon. It is almost ready. I've put my heat on low because it's getting in temperature, and I keep on stirring and stirring and stirring, and it's very precise. You have to be careful. You just want to have that kind of creamy consistency, nothing more. Okay, so I'm checking with my spoon again. This is done. Put my heat off, you see? Right. The sauce is not falling down. It's dry in the middle, and the sauce is at the bottom and at the top. It means my sauce is perfectly done and cooked. I'm gonna leave that to cool down and put it on the side of the stove in the fridge. Alright, to make your meringue, I recommend definitely a food processor or a mixer or a hand mixer or anything. Don't do them by hands. I'm taking basically my 4 egg whites that I had reserved in the fridge from before, from our preparation, and you're gonna add just a pinch of salt. Alright, and before you put any sugar, we're gonna start blending until we get a bit of consistency. Alright, after blending a little bit, you get a bit of consistency. You can then add about 50 grams, which is half the measure of your sugar in the mix, and then you're gonna keep on blending until it's really stiff. Alright guys, so that's it. After a few minutes you get a very firm meringue, and this is a French version of the meringue. The recipe says 50 grams of sugar at first until you get this consistency, which is a really thick one. If I take my spoon over here and I turn it over, it should not fall, you see? This is what a stiff meringue is. Alright, and now we're gonna see something that some of you may not be really familiar with, is cooking meringues on water. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use one of those. It's an ice cream scoop because it takes this nice little egg shape of meringue. So I'm doing a little egg with it and try to put this on the water. It's very simple. Boom. Now the way it has to cook, leave them on the water like this, 1 minute on each side. So you calculate the time, leave them 1 minute on this. When it's 1 minute, you turn them over. Done. When the second minute is done, you take your meringues and basically you put them on a flat container with a bit of kitchen paper or absorbent paper to remove the excess of water. Alright, and now for the finish line, we're gonna make the caramel sauce. I am multitasking by roasting or toasting some almonds in the background over there. And we're gonna make the caramel sauce, 100 grams of white sugar and about a quarter cup of water. That's all it takes. You put this on a high heat and it's gonna have to be a brown caramel, so not blonde, it has to be on the browner side. So we're gonna wait until it starts boiling. Alright, it's boiling hard. We're gonna leave this to boil. I'm checking my almonds in the side. As you can see here, they're getting some nice color. They're almost done. I put the heat on a bit lower. I'm gonna put the heat off, so I don't want to get them too brown. Here, you're gonna wait until this starts to get brown. Alright, when you get a little bit of color on your caramel, it's almost ready and you have to pay attention. My almonds are ready. I removed them. I've replaced here the pan with cold water and you're gonna see why in a minute. Because the caramel burns very, very quickly. Basically, when you start to get a color, you merely got seconds to really get it right and stop the cooking before it burns. This is how sensitive it is. So as you can see, it cooks and it continues to cook, and even if I put the fire off or the heat off, it's going to continue cooking and burn. This is why I've got my pan of water. We want a brown caramel. As you can see here, it starts to be good. I'm going to turn my heat off already because you see how it smokes. And even without the heat, my caramel is going to keep on cooking. Okay, I've got the right color here. I'm stopping the cooking. And that's how you can control your caramel. Alright? Now, you leave this on the side and we're gonna dress up the dish. Alright, that's it. And now let's serve. I'm gonna show you quickly because the caramel is getting harder and harder. Two versions. This is first off the home version, the real no-nonsense version. You pour a little bit of your custard in the bottom of the dish. You just take some of your meringue, it doesn't matter, 1 or 2, regardless of the shape, you know, you take a bit of a mix of everything. And basically, when this is done, we're gonna maybe add another one there, bang. You're gonna take some of your caramel, and my spoon is still, and basically try to drizzle caramel on top without overdoing it, but still keeping it delicious, you see? Don't you love caramel? It's always a very nice thing to do. It's very therapeutic. Bang, this is done. And this is for our home version of the caramel. Now let's have a look at the fine dining version. Right, and now this is the fine dining. This is the one I like. It's really the one experience. You don't want to overdo it. It has to be a very short but delicious experience. You take some custard, all right, in a nice cocktail glass. You want a nice portion of custard. You're gonna then limit the amount of egg that you put in as 1 piece of the meringues. You then take some caramel like the other one, and again a nice drizzle, and you have to be very, very generous with the caramel because this is really what we're gonna use to stick the almonds that are gonna go up on the top. Sorry about the... Okay, and to finish, we just sprinkle a few little almonds on the side. All right? And this is it. This is my Meringue Floating dessert. Very nice, very contemporary. And that's it for the day, guys. Sorry for the rush with the caramel, but it's a bit long-winded. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I see you next time on my next show. Have a good night. Bye-bye.